Good morning. My name is David, and it's been in my heart, my mind for some time to document testimony of one really important event that God has done in my life, and to document that in order to help encourage others in seeking after God in their lives. So I'm gonna tell you the story about something amazing that God had done in my life, and there's a little bit of preparation to get to where you're gonna kind of understand how incredible God is. I want to start off with that for many years I had been a single parent of two boys, two amazing men now that I love dearly. And during that time, I had stayed alone for many years. And as the boys got older, it became evident to me that I really did desire somebody that I could spend my life with. And in that process, some of the things that were in my heart was that I'd really love God to meet somebody, to meet a woman that I could live out the rest of my days with, and maybe this time, somebody that I could have a little girl with, because I had the two boys, and I had raised them, and I understand how it is to raise boys. And having a girl was something completely different. And then in 2011, I married my wife. Her name is Mady. She's a wonderful woman. And we stayed married for a while before having children. We both agreed that we wanted to be together, and we wanted to make sure that we had a time together to grow together first. So we did. And after about 5 years, we decided that we would try to have children. The first attempt ended with a miscarriage, and it was awful. And it prolonged our attempts for about another year. And then, we had success at her getting pregnant. And so she got pregnant, and she's carrying the baby. She had issues with throwing up a lot. And about 4 months in, she started throwing up, and she threw all the way. Even the day of the delivery, she threw up twice during that day. And the doctors had, examined her and did some investigation. They had found out that she had a sizable fibroid at the top of her uterus, and that it was really, really big. I think they said it was 9 centimeters by 15 centimeters. It was pretty big, and not only was she throwing up, but she was also having a lot of difficulty breathing, because this fibroid was pushing up against the solar plex and making it difficult for her solar plex to move up and down in order to bring oxygen in and out of her lungs. So she labored in breathing towards the end. It was very, very difficult for her, and she also experienced an extraordinary amount of pain. She was able to deliver our son, our wonderful son. He's a lot of fun. He's amazing, and this was something, she had always wanted a little boy. And after having the little boy, she was like, "Yeah, I'm done. I don't want any more children. Maybe I might have another child, maybe." But she had met with the doctor and met with the doctors in the field to discuss what could possibly be done with the fibroid, because after she had my son, or our son, she continued to have an extraordinary amount of pain, like every day, and it just it didn't heal, it didn't go away. As they investigated, they actually found that the fibroid had grown after the delivery of our son, and they had suggested that she took time to heal, give it some time to go down, some time to deflate, as it is, I guess would be the word. But they thought that maybe that it would kind of go down with some time. However, that didn't happen, and she continued to have some difficulty breathing and a lot of pain. And the issue was the pain, the constant pain. And so she had talked with the doctors and had seen a surgeon and had talked about the possibilities of removing the fibroid. And the doctors, they said that they would schedule something to remove the fibroid, just the fibroid. And they had made it very much aware to us that that in the majority of the cases where they do try to remove a fibroid, that what really happens is that they go in, and if there is any indication of any other kind of issues that you may have, that they most likely would remove the entire uterus, and that was pretty common. And they just wanted to let us know that that was the normal procedure, that if there were any signs of any other issues, if there was a possibility of something else in the future developing, that once they were able to see, they would be able to make that determination. But they couldn't make that determination before the surgery, because they need eyes on. And so in my heart, I wanted a little girl, and I had hoped that my wife would, maybe change her mind and be like, oh, you know what, let's have a little girl. And she didn't. She was like, no, absolutely not. And she took birth control. She had taken birth control for 5 years. And, we were going through this, looking towards taking the birth control, making sure that there were no accidents where she got pregnant and stuff. As we came up to the surgery, and it was January of 2017, somewhere towards the end of the month. It was like the 20th or something. A couple weeks before that, we're faced with the surgery, and so I know how insurance companies are. I know that insurance companies, they don't want to pay to go back and do something else again anyway. So I got that, plus what the doctor said. So I'm looking at this from the point of view of, like, you know what, no matter what, once they get in there, they're going to take out our uterus, because it's easier for a surgery, it's easier for the doctor. They're going to build the same, but it'll be an easier surgery, no complications, just clip, done, And the insurance companies love that, because it means that they don't have to pay for another surgery in the future. So the standard procedure, I'm looking at this, and with these realities, I looked at it, and I knew that this was it. This is it. We're not gonna have any more children. And a couple weeks before, I woke up one morning, and I had been thinking about it, and I had been thinking about my desire to have a daughter. And it was really, really tough, because something that I had hoped for, I knew that it was not going to take place. I knew it. And I had got down on my knees one morning, and I had prayed, and I had talked with God, and I had confessed that, yes, I did really want a little girl, and I had made a decision, I had made a choice, and I had chosen, and I had told God, and I expressed to God, and I says, God, you know what? From what I can see, it looks like that I'm never gonna have this little girl. And okay, God, I give up my desire for a little girl. You're my God. Whether I have a little girl or not, it doesn't matter. I will not let you go, God. I don't need to have a little girl to be satisfied in this life. I have 3 wonderful boys, so okay, I let it go, and I put it into God's hand, and I surrendered my desire to God, and let him have it, and chose to follow God, period. And I chose to follow my God, who is worthy of all praises. My Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is worthy. He's worthy of everything. And so, moving along, we go, me, my son, and my wife, we go to the hospital, and they're going to perform the procedure. And, here it is, it's going to happen. She's going to have the surgery, and that'll be it. And, they do some standard tests and stuff before the surgery, and they're getting her ready, and they get her in the gown, and they did all their tests. And I mean, we're just like moments away from, we prayed over her, and moments away from them, they're going to come and put her to sleep and take her away. And that was going to be it. And the doctor comes in with a smirk on her face, and she's like, "Hey, guess what?" And we're like, "What?" She's like, "You're pregnant." You're pregnant, to my wife, who's on birth control. Mind you, that's a 2% chance on the birth control that she was on, that 2% chance that it could fail. That's a really small percentage, and it never failed in the past. She was on it for 5 years before Davi, our son. It was 5 years. It never failed before. It never failed before. But it failed. It failed, and she was pregnant. She was pregnant in January, and they asked us, if, they told us that if they did continue with the surgery, that the surgery would cause her to lose the pregnancy. That would be a side effect of the surgery. No matter what, that doing the surgery would create that situation. And they asked my wife and I if we wanted to take a few minutes to think about it, and of course we were like, well, if she's pregnant, that's God's will, and we're gonna move forward and allow the child to come into the world, and not knowing what it was gonna be. And so here we are. I just prayed to God, and here my wife is pregnant, and I'm like, wait a second, what is going on here? Because I just talked to God just a week or two ago about this, and could this be, is God doing something miraculous here? Is God answering my prayer? And I was very careful not to just get excited, because I know that it could just be another boy. Be 4 boys. So 4 months go by. And usually about 3 months they'll be doing like an ultrasound and stuff, but it was a little bit later this time. It was like after 4 months. It was like halfway through, 4.5 months or something like that. And I was really, really quiet, wondering what it was that God was doing here. Why did she get pregnant, all of a sudden, on the birth control just before the surgery? I mean, why would that happen? And it was just before the surgery because, the based on the weeks that we're talking like September would be the delivery for the baby. And we're looking at this whole situation, and I'm wondering, maybe my wife, she just was just like hoping that the baby be healthy and stuff, and me in my heart, I'm like, wow, what did God do here? Did he do something miraculous? This is something miraculous. And so 4 months go by, and we go in, and I'm really, really quiet. And I go in, I left work, and I went in to go to the ultrasound with her, the first ultrasound. And we're in the ultrasound, and I'm quiet, and she's talking, and the woman who's doing the ultrasound, they're talking, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just sitting there quiet, and I'm talking to God in my heart and my mind, and I'm just like, God, what is it that you're doing here? I mean, what is this? Have you answered my prayer? Have you heard my cry? Have you heard the depth of my soul? and done something beyond understanding, something amazing, a miracle in my life that I can't replicate and that I can't attribute it to coincidence. Have you done something amazing like that? And the woman says, do you want to know the sex? And of course, I'm like in my mind screaming, yes, of course I want to know. I want to know if God did something amazing here or not. And it brings me to tears because it was a girl. It was a girl. She says it was a girl, and tears come streaming down my face, and I'm praising God, and I can't believe how amazing God is to bring us right to the edge. It was a no, and I knew it was a no, and I was okay with it being no. I don't have to have any of the things of this world to love and seek after and desire God. God is first and foremost. Everything else is secondary. Children, wife, career, money. I don't care about any of that stuff because I know that to seek after God and His righteousness is to my benefit. And I want God, and I wanted God more than I desired a daughter. And amazingly, He opened up the door. And in September 28th, 2017, my daughter, Nina, was born and came into the world. And God had met with me when all that I thought that was going to happen, when I thought that the answer was no, and I surrendered my will and my desires to God, God said, okay, I know that you love me, and you know that you love me. And so here you go. You can have this little girl that was so important to you. You want the experience of raising a daughter. Here she is. You have to understand, as part of this testimony, my wife did, a year after Nina's birth, have surgery. And they did remove her uterus. And she is no longer capable of having children. And God knew that if she had the surgery in that January, that they would have removed her uterus. He knew it. And He intervened against my wife's will, mind you, because my wife was not willing to get pregnant. She wanted the surgery, and if the surgery was successful and if they were able to keep the uterus, then she would maybe think about something in the future. But in reality, she wasn't looking to have any more children. One was enough for her. And amazing. God is amazing. God is amazing. God took her and got her pregnant just before the surgery. I mean, we can maybe speculate like days, the day before or 2 days before. The thing is that the test came back positive, and if it was 1 day or 2 days or 12 hours or 3 days or a week before, my daughter Nina, she was born in late September. So this is like just about 9 months. It's just about the 40 weeks from just before the surgery. So I mean, the timing was so incredibly close. I mean, we're talking miracle timing, way beyond anything that we could think. And my wife, if you talk to her today, she will tell you straight out that it's my fault that my daughter was born. It's my fault that she got pregnant, and it's not because of some kind of accident that we made. She will tell you straight out that it is my fault because I prayed to God, because I put it before God's feet and I poured out my heart and soul before God. Because of that, God met me and answered my prayer and gave me a little girl. She's amazing. She's beautiful. And she's a lot of work, but she's amazing and beautiful. And I am so thankful to God every day for what He has done, for what He has given me and my family, because He didn't have to. He didn't have to give us anything. He didn't have to give, but he chose to give something miraculous, and um, so I wanted to share the testimony with you, because some people, some of us, we want things in life. I am one of those people. All of us, we have desires. We want things in life, and there was something that I wanted, and that I said to God, look, God, I want this, but no matter what, I don't have to have what I want. I just want your will. And I give up my will for your will to follow you. And I laid it down and I chose to follow God without receiving my will, my desire. And I surrendered my desire to Him. And then He gave it to me anyway. When I gave it up, He says, okay, you're ready, you can have it. I don't know if that'll help any of you, but it's been in my heart for some time now this year to share this testimony, to put it out there, to post it, so that others can hear it, and maybe you can glean something for your walk with God. And by gleaning something for your walk with God, that you can lay something down that you've been wanting at God's feet and surrender it to Him, and be happy to walk with Him without it. Because if you walk with God, whether He gives it to you or not, and I'm not saying that what I experienced is what God is going to do for you. I can't say that. Each person has a different walk. But if you surrender things to God and you lay it down and you are able to walk away with it, you'll be happier, because I was happy to walk away with it. I knew that it was the right thing to do, was to continue following God with or without a little girl in my life. And that's what I was determined to do. And for some reason, He decided to give me a little girl, give our family a little girl. So for all of you out there who desire something from God, be okay with following God without it. Follow God, because He does hear your prayers. If you pour out your heart, all your mind, all your strength before God, if you seek Him with all of your heart, all of your mind, all of your strength, you will find Him. He is there, and He does answer. He answers your prayers. No matter how crazy the world goes, seek Him. Seek Him.